Hello everyone, welcome to another show of Reflect and Reset with Maria and Gina. As you can tell that we're missing one Maria. Maria is actually at an event in the city, so I am lucky to have the honor of doing this on my own today. So today's going to be very interesting what we're going to talk about. We have 3 guests today, and we are going to touch on immigration law and the changes and the challenges that people are having facing getting their immigration status. There have been a lot of rules and regulations that have always existed that are now being enforced that we're going to talk about. We have 3 lawyers joining us today. We have Lyda Tyburec, who will be joining us on air. We have Miriam, Lacroix, and then we have Stephanie Ramos. Now Stephanie and Miriam are local immigration attorneys, and Lyda, who's going to be joining us, is in New York City, and I'm going to give you all their addresses and telephone numbers because everybody who is applying for status or knows somebody that's applying for status needs to listen to this, needs to listen to the show or send this show to somebody after the fact, and you need to call these ladies. So the first thing we're going to talk about, and is Lyda on the phone with us? Hi, Lyda. Lyda, you there? Hello? Lyda's not there with us yet. So we are going to try to get Lyda on the phone, and we are going to start talking about some of the policies that you're telling me that was in effect for many, many years, and they're just starting to be enforced now. So you want to touch a little bit about what's happening with the immigration and the do's and don'ts for somebody applying for the green card?
Sure. This evening we're going to be talking about medical care, Medicaid, public benefits, and its effect on you applying for your green card. There has always been a policy for immigrants who are accepting public benefits or medical or Medicaid or Medicare. There's always been a policy about being considered a public charge in immigration, and it making you ineligible to change your status
because they're kind of depending on the healthcare system,
right?
When they're applying to say that they can be independent and they can take care of themselves,
right? And
then what happens is they're depending on the system.
Yeah. Like even in the process of petitioning for a family member, you still have to submit a letter of support or affidavit of support showing that you can support that person, that they won't become a public charge in the U.S.
I understand. But now this goes as far as food as well. This is food stamps on here, so people are actually have to be concerned with feeding their families if they're applying for immigration, which is really absurd.
Yeah,
I mean, it's absurd. It's taking us to a level that is way beyond what I think is fair.
Absolutely.
And what are you saying? Do your clients understand this? Do they know what they're up against?
Well, they may not know when they come into our office, but we always counsel everyone to make sure that they understand the pros and cons of either or. What they have to make their own decisions, but we do encourage them to try to avoid those programs as much as possible because it makes the hurdle harder to overcome when you're applying.
Oh, I totally understand. Lyda, are you with us?
Yes.
Hi, honey. So
I am here. Hello.
Hello. So we were just touching on it. We tried to get you a few minutes ago. Why don't you kind of chime in as to the challenges or actually let's talk about pretty much the policy that is in effect that is being enforced.
Hello. I'm so sorry, but I'm having a hard time hearing what you are saying.
Okay.
The connection is not very good here.
Okay.
So sorry.
So it's okay. Why don't you chime in a little bit on? We've been talking about when we tried to get you on the phone. We've been talking a little bit about the challenges and what the policy really is that's being enforced. Do you want to add a little bit to it?
Yes. We're talking about the policy that was issued on September 22nd, 2 days ago, correct?
Right. Exactly.
The rule that prevents immigrants from securing local permanent residence and remaining in the United States because they have received some type of public benefit.
Okay, but I'm understanding, especially from the article you sent, it's not just Medicare, Medicaid. It's Section 8 housing. It's food stamps.
Yes,
It's
cash assistance.
cash assistance.
Okay. Yes, basically the rule in general is that people who are not U.S. citizens are not entitled to receive any benefits who are considered public assistance or public benefits for immigration law. And what this new administration is trying to do with this proposed rule is that they are going to define and enforce what those benefits are. At this moment, this is just a proposed rule, and the public has time now to decide or has the opportunity to prevent that this becomes the law by submitting comments in opposition to what is now the government trying to establish as a law.
Wow.
And this is just to understand this is not a law, it's just an attempt from the new administration to change the immigration system by going directly without the Congress and trying to enforce these type of policies that are definitely affecting our immigrant community.
And is this a local enforcement? So in other words, at a local level, or is this federal at this point?
This is a federal, it's like the administration, the Department of Homeland Security. It's a rule that they're trying to enforce, but it's going to be enforced around the country. But
Okay.
it's not a law that will be passed by Congress. It's just a enforcement rule by the administration.
So this isn't actually there's no way you're going to get citizenship or the green card if you do this, but this is something that they're looking at. This could,
Hello?
Right.
yes. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah. So I was saying that this isn't something that is black and white that says you do this and there's no way you're getting it. It's just something that you have to be very mindful of.
I think also it's proposed at this point. It hasn't
Right.
actually been adopted. So it's still in the stages where the community has something that they can do about it. At this point, you can comment on it. You can, you can talk to your congresspeople. You can talk to your representatives and say, hey, I'm not in favor of this definition of public charge, this new
Right.
policy. And if there are comments and if there is enough opposition, it's a good chance that we could get it, not to go into effect or have them make changes to it. So I think it's important.
So if somebody is, and this is my ignorance here, if somebody is an immigrant and doesn't have status now, how are they receiving benefits? Like I know that you can't get health insurance because you don't have your papers.
Mm-hmm.
So what benefits would they be receiving that they would need to stop?
I can answer that question. What basically is happening right now is that hospitals or centers who provide these type of services that are considered public benefits are not very aware of the rules that federal, state, or city rules that affect this type of benefits. So when an immigrant comes to these centers, they are not aware of those rules, and basically they just give the benefits, but they are not trained to teach or to ask the right questions so that the immigrants who go to these centers understand what they're facing and what consequences they could have if they apply or they get some benefits that they are not entitled to. And in the past, what happened is that those rules have been always there, but they haven't been enforced by the government. But now with the new administration, our immigrant community has to be more careful or mindful of these type of situations, because by applying for some benefits that in the past they received, they could be facing serious consequences that could be facing losing the green card or even deportation in some cases.
Right.
So are you saying that if somebody, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lyda, if you go into the emergency room and you don't have your documents, you don't have papers, and you go in and you don't pay for your visit, is that what you're talking about as well? Does that become a part of public assistance?
Yes, this question is a little bit more complex because
Okay.
not every type of public benefit is considered wrong for immigration purposes.
Right.
There are some benefits, like for example, emergency care for when you go to a hospital and you go to an emergency room, this is not considered wrong under the immigration laws. The problem becomes when it becomes like long-term care,
Got it.
cash benefits, or Medicare. There is some medicines that people receive, but I believe it's, I don't know if
Medicaid, Medicare Part D.
or for this, like medicine, the type B, I guess, considered. I have a.
It's Part D. Part D.
Yes, that one. It depends on that the type of benefit that is so complex and complicated that it depends on the city, the state law. It's kind of difficult for me to tell you exactly what it is, but people should be aware of it. That when they go to a hospital or medical center, or a center that gives cash assistance, that they get the proper advice so they get the benefits that they are entitled to avoid these complications.
I understand.
Yeah, I do think that it's important to make a distinction also where there are undocumented or maybe documented but not yet lawful permanent resident parents who have U.S. citizen children.
Right, exactly.
U.S. citizen children are eligible and entitled to benefits as long as it's not in that parent's name. So it shouldn't be confused that those children aren't eligible just because their parents.
So that can't
aren't.
hurt the parents at all. Have the children is in Child Health Plus or something like that.
Right.
As citizens.
Right.
Okay, and if the children are not citizens and they're illegals, can they still apply for Child Health Plus, or is that a no-no?
I think under this new policy that would be an issue.
It would
right.
be.
What hasn't been an issue in the past.
Right.
Yeah.
Understand? It's a fine line that people have to understand, and that you need to understand and need to call one of these ladies, because they can give you so much information. And look, I know that I'm speaking to the English-speaking population right now, but understand that somebody. You have your housekeeper, you have, your gardener, you have whoever, you have the people around you that most likely, I'm sure, is having the same situation. So whether you are, going through this stage right now in the immigration process, or somebody, this is really, really important, especially if they seek this status and they want to get it for themselves and their families, and that's really important. Why, and this is why Form A is here also.
Right.
We are definitely a resource center, everybody, so you have to understand that not only are we here for medical, right, but we are here and we are giving you the tools so all of you can understand what you can and can't do, i.e. lawyers. We have immigration lawyers talking to you, and that will take your phone calls to be able to get your questions answered and to see if you are, on the straight and narrow or not.
Right.
But when it comes to your health care, you guys have to realize that anything you can do to, number one, prevent anything from happening, because at the end of the day, and what's always happening is that they see the big bills, they don't go to the doctors, they can't get the Medicaid, of course, they go to the emergency room as if it's their primary care, not realizing this can affect them. And and people out there need to understand that we're here for them. So like I said, not only are we here with the membership program that is very, very affordable for them to be able to keep themselves healthy, but we're also here for the resources, whether it come to a bank or credit unions, lawyers, so everybody out there, you guys have to understand that there are do's and don'ts that you need to understand, and we can get you in touch with the right people. So let's talk about the challenges. You want to touch on the challenges, other challenges that the population is facing, Lyda?
Yes, thank you. Yes, basically, there are these days many challenges that our immigrant community are facing through this new administration. But what I would like to emphasize, and this is kind of the most important thing that I could talk and to help our community, is that these days the situation is very, very difficult. In the past, for example, if somebody applied for some benefits, like for, let's say, a green card, and for some reason this green card was denied by immigration, just don't be worried that they will be cited before a judge and court. But these days, things are very, very difficult and very different. At this moment, people who have been denied benefits by law, any applications by USCIS, by immigration, they have been referred to court, and they are referred to court, and they usually get into proceedings in court. So people should be aware that right now it's more important than always to get proper legal advice.
Yes.
And be aware of people or lawyers who are unqualified, or these notarios who just are trying to apply for example, asylums when people have no grounds for getting asylum, because right now people are, they are being referred to court, but sometimes they get arrested and then they get separated from families, and right now our courts have more cases and things are getting longer to be adjudicated, and it's much difficult right now for our immigrants.
So if you have a client who got denied, would you actually go to court with them?
Yes.
So they're advised not to step into that courtroom alone.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
I think the statistic is around 5 times more likely at success if you're in removal proceedings with representation than without. I mean, with competent.
What do you mean a removal proceedings? What do you mean a removal? So everyone understands. What does that mean?
So removal proceedings is exactly what she was talking about when your case is referred to court.
Okay.
And so at that point, you're no longer
in the application process.
Right. Well, yes, you're no longer in that affirmative application process with the Administrative Office of Immigration. You're actually now in immigration court, where you are actually fighting removal or deportation from the country.
Oh, I see. Now, do you find that people that don't get, they get denied, they don't go to court, that they just stay here illegally now and they drop it there? That's not smart either.
No.
So
it's not smart, but people are uninformed and they're scared and they don't know what else to do.
Right.
So it does happen, and it happens very frequently. So it's really important. This is why we keep reiterating that it's important that they speak with someone, because it could be something that could be fixed if you have an attorney with you. It may be something that requires a little more than just some simple arguments. You may require a whole different application than what you were initially applying for.
Okay.
So, seeking attorney is.
So when you have a case like this, is it depending on? I mean, are there different levels of denial? Are there, because maybe somebody has traffic tickets or somebody has? I mean, are there different levels, or is it just a flat out denial? You have to go to court from this point.
I think there are different reasons for denial. For example, you mentioned traffic court. A criminal background could be a reason for denial. Also, just being ineligible for that application, that whatever you applied for. And also, in connection to what she was talking about, other policies that allow USCIS or U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services to deny your application without giving you the opportunity to respond or submit additional evidence. Those things lead to denial as well.
So this is so important, guys, that you really understand this and you really take the advice of these ladies, because these ladies know what they're talking about. And this gets to a point where, you could be sitting on a fence here with, are you going to be able to stay or not? And not only will you be able to give them better legal advice to say, look, you got a really great chance, and let's go through the whole process. Before they panic, because panic is not a good thing.
No.
Once you panic, you always make the wrong, wrong decision, and you're not thinking clearly.
Right.
So what other tips do we have, Lyda, to give to our friends out there?
Yes, I just wanted to give an example, which I hear all the time, and I think probably my fellow immigration attorneys hear this all the time. I hear my clients all the time, my attorney applied for the 10-year, how do they call it, the 10-year rule. I applied for this 10-year rule, so I got it again, going back to the same challenges. There are a lot of lawyers out there who are promising our clients things that, notarios or accountants or people who are not qualified people are really confused.
So-
Our clients should be very informed. There is no 10-year rule. Some people tend to believe that if they have been here in the U.S. for 10 years and they have children
Oh, I
or
see.
people, relatives who are U.S. citizens, that's all what they need to get a green card. This is not true, especially these days. Same with a lot of people who come from countries in Central America who there are a lot of changes with asylum laws, and that's another thing that people should be aware of. Applying for asylum just to get a work permit, because this is something that some people also hear a lot. Oh, I'm going to apply for asylum so that you can get a work permit. This is also a big change in this space. It's not happening, and things are changing and a lot in that sense. And again, it's going to spend things. You could be facing deportation and even arrest in some cases if you start doing things like that just to get a work permit.
So explain something to me. You're talking about a 10-year rule, right? And does a 10-year rule, do people think that if they're here 10 years, whether legally or illegally, that they're waived from any, that they have a better chance when they're here illegally?
This is the idea that some lawyers, I call them unscrupulous lawyers, and notarios have been feeding to people who are scared. You know, they tell them, oh, you've been here for 10 years, I can get you your work permit, and then, you know, you'll eventually get a green card. And what it is that they're applying for asylum on their behalf, which if you've been here more than a year, you're not eligible for asylum.
Okay.
So if you've been here 10 years, you're obviously definitely not eligible for asylum, and you're almost automatically going to be put into removal proceedings when you file that application.
Now, I don't know if you guys can answer this question, but how do you give our listeners advice on how to find, besides the three of you guys, which I would vouch for, how do you give them the advice to find the right lawyer? How do they know who's right and who's scrupulous and who's not?
They have to, that's the thing, they have to go to a person who really knows what they're doing, a lawyer who really knows what the lawyer is doing, and sometimes it's good to ask questions to two or more lawyers, but the problem is that sometimes clients, they go to the lawyer where they want to hear what they want to get, so it's kind of tricky, right? Like, oh yeah, if they come to me and I tell them, no, don't do anything because you are ineligible, they go to another lawyer that says, oh yeah, you can do it.
Right.
So it's very difficult with this population, and before it didn't matter too much because, for example, when somebody applied for an asylum, just under the advice, with the idea that they would get a work permit, he was not, I mean, the asylum case didn't have good basis. It was not that, it was serious because they would probably lose the asylum case in court, but it took like 10 years by the point they got to that point.
Right.
Right now, with the new administration, the cases are being heard first and fast. So
Okay.
now people are getting, when they apply for asylum, if they are denied, they are getting notice to appear before a judge in 3-4 months. So and they will never get a work permit because they will not be eligible by the time things go the way they are going right now. By the time they go to court, they're gonna, if they are not eligible for the asylum, they will be denied the asylum and they will get an order of deportation, and by then they're gonna be deported. So it's kind of very difficult right now.
So this
We
is-
should be really careful for that.
This is very interesting that you know we got to meet with you, with the three ladies, and I want everybody to know we're winding down, but I want to give you their information because we at Form A can vouch for these three. And if you have any questions or you know somebody who has questions, please make sure that you speak with one of these ladies. First of all, we're speaking with Lyda Tyburec. And Lyda, you can reach Lyda at 347-446-4704. Okay, she's located on 42nd Street down in Manhattan. Very, very knowledgeable. If you're living in New York, perfect. You go see Lyda. She will guide you in the right direction. Here in Westchester, right here on 199 Main Street, We have Miriam and Stephanie, and their telephone number is 914-719-7570. So, wrapping this up, we really want to say that everyone listening, this is really, really important information that we're giving you. Don't let it fall by the wayside. You have to take what we're saying and really, use it to your best ability. Go talk to these three ladies and get some really good advice. If it's not for yourself, I'm sure it's for somebody that you know, a loved one or a friend or somebody who works with you.
Yeah.
So do the right thing for everybody. And please, also, I want to reiterate that we're here. So if you are using the Medicaid system and you are trying to apply for immigration status, call us. We're here to help you. We have the memberships that are very affordable. Starting at $29.95 a month, you are not going to find healthcare at a more affordable price. And we have quality doctors. We are here for you, as you can tell, not just for medical. We are here for you for every aspect. So we're going to say goodbye. We're going to look forward to seeing you again on Monday. I'm sorry that my partner Maria wasn't here, but I think we did okay without her. I think that she would be the first to say we did okay. But Maria, you're missed. But guys, please make sure that you call one of these three lawyers, and we will see you next week. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Lyda, so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me. A pleasure.
Thank you, love, and thank you guys, and everybody have a really great week.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.